about how to pivot when times are difficult, and how ingenious he was at doing this, and that's how he actually made massive amounts of money. It wasn't just by growth, it was by pivoting his business when things weren't going well, and how to think that way, because it's not like natural. And so when I see people who are really building something big and they're really kind of going on instinct, but it's almost always the right decision, you really have to know, how do they get to these points? What kind of advice? Who do they pull in? And it's hard to know sometimes who's a good resource. So Mycal is one of his resources. I absolutely trust him. He's wonderful, and he also has a podcast. I don't know if half of you have probably been on it, but without further ado, Mycal Anders from Next Level Performance. Thank you.
Well, that's not a lot to live up to. Thank you, Amber. I am up here under the premise that you're all my friends and you're interested in what I have to say. My partner Joanna and I, Next Level Performance Consulting, we build the fittest leaders. Alignment first and progress always. And that's truly the difference in our practice compared to other similar programs and modalities that you might experience. And the only way this is going to work is if we're all present for this experience, we play full out, and you show up. So, that being said, just quick round of questions for you. How many of you know, just at a 30,000 foot view, I need to treat myself better? Show of hands. Awesome. How many of you know you need to work out? How many of you know you need to eat better? Get better sleep. Drink more water. Phenomenal. I'm not here to tell you shit that you already know. However, the question I do have is, if you know all that stuff, then why don't you do it?
Discipline.
Wrong answer. Here's the deal. It's not a lack of motivation. It's not a lack of discipline. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're simply out of alignment. And that's our life's mission, is to help you discover for yourselves what that is. I can't tell you how many people have come to us over the years looking for six-pack abs, wanting to lose 40 pounds, get off their blood pressure medication, put some distance between them and doctor's appointments. Those are all extrinsic motivators. Yes, they're important. Yes, they're part of the total wellness picture. But if you don't get to the root of what put you in those positions in the first place, the relapse, the regression, the try to buy your way into a better state strategy, is just going to let you down over and over and over again. Yeah, you want to drop those 40 pounds. Yes. It's important that you get off those blood pressure medications and you keep yourself out of the hospital. Well, what put you there in the first place? Let's solve that problem. And when I had that epiphany in working with my clients and started solving the issues that were going on between the ears, all those issues fell right in line, because we were able to put together strategies and implement tactics that actually served their highest and best use. And when we, instead of doing that midstream with this tool, our alignment assessment, when we put that up front and we created that transfer of ownership of process and result from coach to client, now you're in the driver's seat. And we're simply the guide that lights the path and keeps you on the straight and narrow. Because when you start curating your environment, auditing your circles of influence, to create that scaffolding that supports your greatness, it's not a matter of if you fall off the wagon, especially in the beginning. It's only a matter of when. And that's okay. We have to redefine what progress actually is. And quite simply, it's tightening that feedback loop so that when you fall off the wagon, you come back to center that much faster. Am I making sense? Is this landing for you guys? Are you thinking about all the things that have, manifested as self-sabotage, or that rapid weight gain once upon a time, or that hyper-stressful situation that just is a recurring theme in your life? Are you replaying those moments right now? Okay. It's a really interesting thing, this game of alignment. When we start shifting our patterns and our behaviors to actually support who we are at our highest and best. And while I could sit here and give you a 30-slide deck of how to upregulate your parasympathetic nervous system and shift your hormones through physical activity and talk about our states of being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, you don't really care about that information. So what I'd rather do is introduce you to a couple of people, tell you a few stories, and exemplify what alignment could look like. Fair? Yeah. Sweet. Let me introduce you to Mike. Built his company out of a closet over the course of 2 decades. Took it international, had $1 million run rate, absolutely crushing it in business. Shows up at our door, dude, I gotta lose 40 pounds. Everything in my life gets better if I could just lose 40 pounds. Okay. So we start the process. 6 months later, he's down 40 pounds, but all that shit that was causing friction in his life was still there. Here's what most people run into. They solve that acute pain. They drop the 40 pounds. They get off the wagon, but they don't solve any of the real shit. And they gain that weight back again. Because your fitness, or lack thereof, is really a symptom of the shit that you're not dealing with in the other 23 hours of your day. And that's if you're taking that 1 hour and putting it towards your physical practice. And there's a lot of us that are avoiding shit 24 hours a day. But you help somebody lose 40 pounds over the course of 6 months, and it creates an invitation to ask some deeper questions. Because every session that he missed over the course of that 6 months had something to do with his business. Staff doesn't show up to unlock the door. Invoices aren't getting paid. Follow-ups and referrals aren't being managed properly. What's showing up as a result? Struggle managing food. Intimacy with his wife hasn't improved. And I just simply asked him, is there a reality where you've taken this company as far as you have the skill and or the will to take it? You don't need to answer me right here, right now. And he didn't. It took a couple of weeks. I gave him a book to read. We love to give our clients homework. And a couple of weeks later, he comes back to me and he's like, dude, you're right. what I've been doing, the things that have made me successful to this point are now the things that are in the way of my highest and best self moving forward. See? Phenomenal. And before I get into the rest of the story, I want to preface it with, I am not a business coach, okay? I went to one of the best business schools in the world, Thunderbird. However, that is not what I do as a practice. It's not what we do as a practice. But the point's still valid. You have three options moving forward from this moment. One, you can keep doing what you've been doing, and I'll tell you how that story ends, and it's not good. Two, you can invest in the infrastructure, delegate downstream, and only engage in the business in your highest and best use in the things that brought you joy in the first place when you started building it. Or option three, you can position yourself for M&A, offload the company completely, and move on into the next season of your life. Pivoting. He went with option three. And 18 months later, he got his exit, retained equity of the portfolio that acquired him, and now he only engages in a business capacity in the roles that brought him joy and fulfillment in the first place. And just a couple of weeks ago, he got back from a 2-week vacation in Scotland with his wife. Now, not all of us are in a position, nor do we desire to offload our companies. If that's what's driving your purpose and fulfillment, keep doing that. But don't leave yourself behind in the process. Let me introduce you to Brittany. Mom, married almost 20 years. Executive. Teenage daughter. Every single day, she's on the job, kicking herself in the ass because of the time she's not spending at home. And when she is home, she's not present because she's thinking about that never-ending to-do list that's on her desk at work. And just like Mike, if I get in better shape, it's going to solve all my problems. And we did that. However, what allowed that to happen wasn't her perfecting our 5 pillars: mindset, training, nutrition, recovery, hydration. It was her plugging herself back into her own life. And one of the instruments that we used, that we leveraged for her, was quite simply what we refer to as a transition routine. This is her next easiest step. When you start to introduce yourself to your highest and best self, our default as humans is to make shit way harder than it needs to be. Show of hands, how many of us think we need to be doing more in that effort? I would contend that you should probably be doing less. What we showed her, what we implemented in her transition routine, she pulls into the driveway, hectic day at work. She's a CXO at a Fortune 500. Before you get out of the car, don't even turn off the ignition, keep the AC going. And you're going to take 10 breaths and repeat to yourself, work is done, I am home. And she was What the fuck are you talking about? How is that going to help me out of my situation? I miss my family. I hate my job. How is 10 breaths going to fix my problems? I look like an absolute moron hyperventilating in my driveway. I said, trust the process. She was inconsistent, hit and miss in the very beginning, but she leaned in and she took ownership of the result that she was looking for. And all we did was support her in this initiative. Going back to my introduction to Brittany, married almost 20 years, teenage daughter. Her husband and kids' favorite pastime is carving pumpkins at Halloween. She's never been present to participate in that activity. She implements this transition routine and gets consistent with it. And this past fall was the first time in her daughter's lived experience that she was present enough to carve pumpkins with her family. And she lost a shit ton of weight in the process. But that's alignment, guys. That's what we're after. But which one of those 5 pillars is the catalyst for the other 4? That's why we start with that alignment assessment. Because when you come in thinking that you need to go from 0 days in the gym to 7 days a week, that's a recipe for disaster. And now we're just another pair of failed coaches that let you down because we didn't give you what you need or get you where you wanted to go. However, when you raise your level of awareness as to what alignment looks like for you, and you take ownership of that, now we can build a plan together. Because if we can introduce as little friction as possible at the onset, the likelihood of your success becomes exponential. And that might look like taking 10 breaths in your driveway, or drinking more water, or just simply going for a walk. These are all the things that I get to teach to executives, business owners, and entrepreneurs, business leaders and entrepreneurs at the Thunderbird School of Global Management. Because we've made such progress in this regard in building fitter leaders. They're like, they need to know this before they graduate and get out in the business sector and burn themselves out. You guys want to play a game?
I love games.
Yes! More of her. What's your name?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth, I love you. Grateful to know you. I'm glad you're here. How many of us are married to our phones? Wonderful. How many of us swear by our calendars? Fantastic. How many of us, of all the things I just talked about as far as alignment concerned, is where's the fucking time? Yeah. It's never been an issue of quantity. It's always been an issue of quality. So pull out your phones and open your calendars. Amber, how am I doing on time?
You're great. You have 7 minutes left.
Perfect. Awesome. That's all I need. Okay, calendar's open. I want you to go as far forward as you need to go. Okay, listen very specifically to these instructions. I want you to go as far forward as you need to go to create a reoccurring 1-hour appointment with yourself. Anytime between Monday and Friday, between 9 to 5.
Weekly or?
A weekly recurring appointment. Oh, don't worry about what you're going to do with it. No. Don't make it any more. See that? That's doing more. That's doing more. Okay?
Do we need 90 minutes for travel or?
Don't worry about what you're going to do with it. Alignment solves that problem. Go as far forward as you need to make it recurring on a weekly basis, 1 hour a week between 9 to 5. Oh, shit.
I was like,
Yeah.
I got
Just so you don't feel bad, depending on how far forward you're going, all right? My record right now is 13 months. I did this exercise with an executive, and he had to go over a year forward in his calendar to find this time.
You're causing me a lot of anxiety.
That's right. Good.
I put mine on for Tuesday.
I got it in 2 days. I put it on for Friday.
Awesome. Good.
Friday morning.
You win.
Okay. Yeah, everybody. Did everybody get there?
Oh, bonus.
Okay.
Definitely winning.
So check it out.
This table rocks.
You set the tone. Rule follower. I love it. Okay. This is my alignment table. Okay. Now, if it's not today, if it's not tomorrow, if it's not this week, okay, the next step in this exercise is to identify what shifts you need to make to collapse time and get yourself closer to that 1 hour for self.
I need to get rid of my kids.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Something's got to give. Yeah, always.
What's really cool about this level of awareness, all right, I can tell by the energy in the room, it's like, oh my God, like I don't have that. That guy that had to go 13 months out via this exercise, we collapsed 13 months into 3 weeks. There were meetings he didn't need to be in. There were appointments he didn't have to take. There were all kinds of unnecessary obligations that were interfering with making himself a priority. And once he put this into practice, because that's what it is, none of us are going to nail this 100%. You're going to compromise on that hour for self. You're going to take that appointment that you just couldn't miss. Ma'am?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah?
Okay. So if that target moves though, but you still get an hour every week, does that count?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I like to.
I'll allow it.
Fast question table.
So many of us, especially if you're in this room, are serving incredible missions, building empires, but at what cost? If you lose your ability to lead effectively or be present with those you love, is it actually worth it? Putting yourself first, making yourself a priority, isn't selfish. The result of that practice increases your capacity and bandwidth to be present with those that you lead and love. So I invite you on the back end of this new level of awareness, take the next easiest step to solving that problem. And if you want support to make that happen, I've got a couple of QR codes up here. We've got a monthly membership into the Alignment Village. We can just sit down and take you through your alignment assessment. Or if you're all in and you want that support long term, all right, we'll roll it all up into a bundle and you can do 12 months for $9.97. It's all up to you. The information's there. Are there any questions? Because that's all I have for you. Nothing? Nobody wants to solve their own problem right now?
You kind of didn't answer my question though. Can that move
I said I'd allow it.
Oh, you would allow
Yeah.
it? Okay. I was really paying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were letting me be your coach. I was giving you permission.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. Yes.
Very refreshing.
Oh, did you start off as like health and wellness? Like
I've been in strength and
physical
conditioning for
trainer,
25 years.
And then this came about because you realized
This was the
that
evolution of,
people
yeah.
weren't- They were losing the weight, but then they still have the issues.
Absolutely.
So stress really puts on weight, doesn't it?
Oh my God. Absolutely. We had a Marine retiring who couldn't get her weight off, and she was a month or two away from being on our body composition protocol. And we implemented some of these strategies, and she makes it to retirement, takes off that uniform, and just by virtue of eliminating so much of that stress, 7 days, 14 pounds.
It
Yeah.
also makes you sick, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
So it's not hormones.
It's wild that we have a continuous glucose monitor, but we don't have a continuous cortisol monitor. Because like it also depletes, like while they're pulling it to test it, it might not be accurate. And I always feel like that would be such an amazing tool to have to measure people's cortisol levels.
Instead of giving us another drug.
They do
Yeah.
have like litmus paper you can constantly be spitting on. I mean, that's the easiest way to measure it.
What else you guys got?
So in this hour, it's really just spending time to be aware around where I'm spending my time,
It's
priorities,
whatever you need it to
activities.
be to put yourself first.
So
Is that helpful?
Yes.
Did I land that plane for you? Okay.
what's the first step of alignment? Like what exactly are you looking for when you're like, okay, I'm totally frazzled? Is that, you said you have like a
So when
test?
we take you through your alignment assessment, we'll identify who you are at your highest and best. And that is your North Star that makes your yeses really obvious and the nos even more obvious. It's a great tool in terms of disrupting your self-sabotaging patterns, because you can look at that. We have our clients put it in plain sight wherever they spend the most time. We have clients that put it all over their house. Is this next decision, is this next course of action in support? Does it bring me closer to that version of me or move me further away? Easy yes, easy no. Yep. Yep.
Question over here, you do have a virtual program or is it?
Absolutely. Yep. Everything up here takes you through our virtual experience.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You guys.